The Bible said they hated him even the more. They hated him. They hated him. They hated him. I have been in situations in this life where what you expect to be a congratulation is an expression of pain in somebody's heart. I remember one time we're doing a particular work. My spiritual father drove in from Abuja, flew in and landed in Ugan. We picked him up, we drove in here. When we landed, we got in here, did a few things, moved to. A few ministers who were with us were angry. They were angry. They were angry that why should he stop at my place? Why should it be my place? That is the first place he arrives. They were angry. I remember the first time he visited our church in 2018. Some ministers who used to talk to me stopped talking to me. They were angry. Why him? Why him? Why him? They were angry. They cut off. And when a person has entered that dimension of jealousy and envy, he is capable of anything. Let me show you the second thing that happens when a man falls into the trap of jealousy and envy. It's called hatred. We've already captured it. The Bible says, now Joseph had a dream and he told it to his brothers, and they hated him even more. When a person has been poisoned by the spirit of envy and jealousy, the next thing it does is to move him to the next phase. It's called hatred. And when people hate you just because of the fact that they feel threatened by the possibilities you carry, it will be very, very hard for you to see the daylight of your dream, except you wage war in the spirit. Jealousy and envy, hatred is a demonic attack on men of destiny. It's not just a normal thing. You know what it makes people do? When people envy you and jealous you, they attack your reputation, they attack your personality, they attack your credibility, they label you. And most times where they will label you is in places they know the possibility of your person can reach there. And once it reached there unhindered, there will be so much of resources, so much of help, so much of the hand of God you can see from such places. They will go before you even arrive there to just mess up your personality. Listen, not because you did anything wrong. What did the young man do wrong? You need to start asking some people who don't just like you. If you can, I will not. You need to find a way to ask one or two persons who don't like you. And some of them from a distance. There are people who are very distant from you. They don't just like you. See, some can just drive past and see your billboard as a pastor and hate you. It's a spirit. Just don't like you. They will label you. Just because you wore a nice suit and nice tie, somebody will say, this guy is proud. And you're not proud. They just hate the fact that you are a version of person that they are not. They just hate the fact that the way you are going, you outrun them. You become too big, become too great, and you will leave them behind. Listen to me. Some people have attacked people, hated people, destroyed people who God was taking into something great for the same sake of the one attacking them. I saw a video that got me thinking, and I said, truly, this is life. A certain pastor went to see a brother, and when this pastor came, the brother was happy. He had just gotten a new job, very great job with good amount of salary and all that. And he called his pastor to come and pray for him, and also pray for his friend. But he didn't tell his friend that he was going to called the pastor to come pray for him. The friend, however, knew that he had gotten a job, but he said nothing about it to him. He just told him he had gotten a job, and the offer is great, juicy, car, nice amount of salary and all that. And when the pastor came, the brother said to the pastor, please sir, let me go out and buy something for you. And then he left. When the brother left to go and buy what he wanted to go and buy, he was now left with his best friend. That's the best friend of this guy. The brother went out to buy something and left the pastor with his best friend in the house. When the brother went out, the best friend of this pastor, of this brother, began to speak derogatorily about his best friend. You know what he was telling the pastor? He said, pastor, I'm surprised you came to see this, my friend. He's not a good man, no. He's not a good guy at all. Do you know that he only comes to church and behaves like a good brother and behaves like he's pastor, this guy has been into all kinds of things, women, he even drinks. And the pastor was like, you mean it? He said all kinds of things against this guy. He said, pastor, have nothing to do with this guy, have nothing to do with him. And after a while, the brother walked in with the Fanta or the malt he went to buy and gave the pastor. The pastor took it and was looking at the young man. When he was done taking it, the brother now said to him, pastor, this is why I called you. I called you to, I told you on the phone that I got a new job, and this is the offer, is mouth-watering, is great offer. We can't thank the Lord enough. As our spiritual father, I said, let me call you and inform you about it, so you can pray for us. He said, for us? I thought you're the only one that got the job. He said, no sir, I wanted this to be a surprise for my friend. Actually, he's not gotten a job after a period of time also like me. So I went to this interview and I applied for myself and also told them that I had somebody who was looking for a job, because there was 2 vacancies and they wanted to give this job to another person, but I had to plead and say no, because they wanted me so badly because of my credentials. I told them no, that if they don't give my friend the job, I will not take the job, that I was going to leave the job, they can go and look for some other person. But because they wanted me so badly, they couldn't help but accept my offer that my friend has to work with me in the same company. So as it stands now, both of us have the job. I have a new official car, he has a new official car. In fact, we are to resume tomorrow. At this point, when the brother was saying this, his best friend could not even look at him. He was hiding somewhere. And the pastor looked at the best friend and said, can you look at him? Look at him. Why are you hiding? And then the brother was like, pastor, why are you asking to look? He said, no, you think you have a friend. Who you have is a scorpion. He said, let me tell you everything he told me about you when you were away. So you be careful in this life who you call a friend. And then he played the tape recorder. He was recording with his phone. And the friend heard everything. The same person you are envying, you are jealous of, you are hating, is who God is trying to use to help you. What kind of madness is life? The devil will use jealousy and envy. He will use hatred. He will sponsor that spirit and make sure they peddle all kinds of things against you to discredit you and make it difficult for men who would have given you a helping hand to rise, never to help you, on the account of unprintable things that have been peddled against your person. But listen, tonight, as we raise our voice to pray, there will be restoration. The kind of restoration that will come is not for people looking for what to eat and drink. It's restoration for people carrying destinies. You're carrying destiny, but the devil somehow is trying to wound you. He's trying to discredit you. He's trying to say all kinds of things. He's trying to cast aspersion against your person before your helpers, before men who have the might and the muscle to lift you, to raise you, to be a blessing to you. He's doing everything hard to paint a narrative about your person that you're not. In this meeting, we're going to raise our voice in prayer. When we start praying, pray. He will make sure that people hate you to the point that they withdraw. You know, there's a way the devil works. Number 3 way the devil attacks people is by the power of accusation. This is how the devil attacks relationships. You might think he's not attacking you, but he is. That's what he's doing. You might wonder, what is hatred? It's just somebody not liking me. He has the power to keep you at a place for long. You might say it is jealousy and I'm doing well, that's why they're not happy with me. He also has the power, except you wield the power of the Spirit against those demons and use the same thing people mean or meant for your downfall to orchestrate your lifting. Genesis 39 verse 7. Joseph suffered this third problem. It was not just envy and jealousy he suffered. He also suffered hatred, and he also suffered accusation. Look at Genesis 39. Hit verse 7 for me. It's supposed to be a long read, but I will not read everything. Just hit verse 7, then I'll take you to the last verse. And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast longing eyes on Joseph, and she said, lie with me. You see, people who create a problem and then become the victim in the same problem. Watch this. The subtlety of the devil is about to be revealed in your very eyes now. Watch this. Be very careful. Watch this. So when Joseph was hated and envied by his brothers, you know what happened to him? When the brothers finally found an opportunity while keeping their father's sheep to kill him, they made sure they take advantage of him quickly. You know how the story went? The Bible says that Joseph was taking food to go and give his brothers when they were keeping their father's flock. And when they got there, one of them said, behold, the dreamer cometh. He said, this is the best time for us to annihilate him. Let's eliminate the guy. Take him out of this place so that he doesn't keep bothering us with all his big, lofty dreams and big, great ideas. Let's kill the guy. And one of the brothers said, no. Lest his blood rest in our hands. Let's not kill him. Rather, let's take him and put him in the pit and leave him there. Then later we can decide what to do with him. Long story cut short, they all agreed, put him in the pit, left him there. And after some moments, they saw merchants who were traveling to Egypt. And these merchants deal in slave trade. Their commerce and their medium of, merchandise was largely sales of slaves. And they quickly approached them and said to them, we have somebody that we think will be good for you guys to sell into slavery in Egypt. So how much are you willing to pay? They made their negotiations and then settled on a particular price, and they paid them. And that was how they handed Joseph, their own blood brother, over to the merchants traveling to Egypt. And they took Joseph into slavery. So when they got to Egypt, they arrayed all the slaves they came with and brought all the big men who needed slaves to come and bargain for any slave they wanted. That's how Potiphar came and saw Joseph looking good, looking fine, and felt like, wow, I need this guy. Something about him. How much are you willing to pay for? Are you willing to take for him? And of course, they had their deal, sealed the deal, and that's how he took Joseph into his house. And the Bible said that Potiphar found so much great favor because of the presence of Joseph in his house. And because of that, his administrative acumen, his astuteness in doing things and all that, the Bible says that Potiphar now considered to set him as ruler over his house. And he did set him as ruler over the house. But there was one thing that Potiphar never gave him charge of, and that was his spouse, his wife. But every other thing, Joseph had the power to stay and keep charge and control over them. And one day something happened. What was it that happened? The Bible said that Potiphar's wife began to cast admiration and cast love, cast affection on Joseph. He began to love him, of course, because Joseph was such a man endowed with all kinds of qualities. He was such a man that was gifted. He knew how to do his work very well. Who would not like such a person? Of course, the wife loved him so much and liked him and wanted him to have something with him by way of, sexual intercourse. And what happened? Joseph, being a nobleman, refused, seeing that his father or his master had put him in charge of everything in the house except the woman. Said to her, he said, look, everything else in this house I have been put in charge of, except you, madam. I can't do this wickedness to my Oga and to God in heaven. I can't. And she kept trying and trying until one day she did something that looked like forcing him to sleep with her. She tried to use force, the application of coercion. And in the course of the struggle, Joseph, come now, come. Nobody will know, God will not know. Come now, we promote you. I will increase your salary. Joseph said, to hell with the salary and the promotion. And then he fled, left that room, and left his coat with the woman and ran. And the woman said, finally, since you want to be stubborn, since this fly called Joseph have refused to be stubborn, you will follow the coffin to the grave. And she had an evidence. Everybody say evidence. She had an evidence. And what was the evidence? The cloth of the young man. And when Joseph fled, the Bible says that the woman lifted up her voice and screamed. And people came in. Madam, what is it? He said, look at this, the slave, the Hebrew slave that my husband brought into the house that has tried to defy me and sleep with me. He said, send for my husband at once because I'm in deep sorrow. And when Potiphar heard it, he ran back. I said, what is this that I'm hearing? You know how the story went. She narrated her side of the story and said, look at the boy you brought here to be a slave in this house, tried to lay his hands on me. And long story cut short, Joseph was thrown automatically into prison. What power was at work there? Everybody say accusation. 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 The power of accusation is a powerful weapon in the hands of the devil to discredit people's personalities, to discredit people's credibility. Just that you refuse some people access alone to you is enough for them to tarnish your image. You close the door. You say, no, madam, I'm not going to do this. She says, for what you have done, watch me dent your image. There are some people who want some things from you, privileges, access. They want to be in your 18. They want to be close to you. They desperately want something from you. They want to be attached to you. It might not be in the area of trying to lure you to bed, though. People like me have seen such things. They want to have very close proximity with you. And because you know there's something about this person that is unreal, that is not sincere, you decide to relate from a distance. That alone can take you up in a very bad light. I have seen things. And I'm telling you that if you are a man undergoing this journey of destiny, you will see things. When you become a man of destiny like me, you will now know what really matters. You will now know what really counts. You will not be looking for just anybody hanging around you. There's a kind of people. There's a kind of people. And every time something happens around you, that makes people change who they claim they are, just lift up your hands and say, Father, thank you. Father, thank you. That's why I'm never apologetic about anything. You see me? Never. There are things I will never be apologetic about. Never. I'll rather be grateful to God for it. We can't go far. When you grow up, you will understand life in depth. Then you know what loyalty is. When you are part of somebody's life, you will know what loyalty is. You will know what loyalty is. That loyalty is far from following somebody because everything seems good around him. Loyalty will be tested even when everything doesn't seem good. Do you know, somebody once came to me. I don't know that this is going to be pulled out also, but let me say, somebody once came to me boldly, minister of the gospel, boldly. And you know his anger, because he used to have a relationship with my father in the Lord many years ago or something, and he no longer has a relationship with him, you know. But he's coming around me and all that. I didn't know their whatever. And one day we were just talking. And he said something in the direction of my father. And what he said had to relate to somebody who used to be his member. When he said it, I didn't wait for him to finish. P, hold on. Let me check something. I'm calling you back now. I'm calling you P. Just hold on. I'm calling you back now. Because you know how the devil works. Once you give it a hearing, a reply will follow. Once a reply follows, a conversation will start. And that is a test of my loyalty. When the details of your father's error, whether it is correct or not correct, whether it's a rumor or whether it's not a rumor, is fully in your hands. It is not who furnished you that is a rebel. It is you who is a rebel. It is you who is a rebel. Can't tell me anything. When you grow into a level, say you want to do ministry, you want to fulfill destiny, you will look for me and say, sir, please, sir, let's get some things right now. You look for me. Immediately I said, please, sir, let me check something and call you back now. Bam, off the phone. That has been the last day ever that man crossed this place or crossed my house or called me and I picked. Last day. His number had remained blocked on my phone till date. You know, I told you something about the king Xerxes in Esther chapter 6 verse 1. I told you something about him, and I told you something about Mordecai. How Mordecai told of two of his bodyguards who had conspired against his life. Mordecai was one of the gatekeepers, and Mordecai came to the king and of course didn't say anything to the king. Mordecai spoke to these two guys and told them, you guys, I will expose you guys and the intentions you have in your hearts against the king. And he fought those two guys over what they wanted to do to the king. And the Bible had it on record that one day, the period Haman was seeking to eliminate Mordecai for not bowing down to him and greeting him, and not just eliminate him, eliminate the entire Jews. The Bible said the king called forth and sent for the book of Chronicles, and he opened it and he saw places where it was written that Mordecai had dealt with the treachery of two of his bodyguards. And the man shocked And he said, what has been done for Mordecai, for this thing he did? What has been done for him? Part of what shocked the man is that Mordecai had the opportunity to align with these two devils to eliminate the king, yet he fought against them and never asked a reward for it. He was comfortable still serving the king very honestly and genuinely. Except information my father in the Lord, for instance, has given me access to directly, I don't want to get it from any other source. It is an intentional thing that if you meet me now and say, tell me history of Pastor David Obueli, except it's an information he told me on his own, I have no record of any news. And listen, it doesn't mean there are no news. You can't be at that level and look for news and not find it. And the truth of the matter is that the news does not have to be true, and it doesn't have to be a lie. You can come to me now and sit down and tell me everything negative somebody says about me. My eyes will shift from who told you, and I'll be looking at you. You had this time to go through this journey on your father. You are a dangerous guy, son. It's not you're telling me. You know, Jesus told Judas, that thing you want to do, do it quickly. You are coming up in life. Stages will open for you. You will look for me. You won't find me. You will look for me. You will say, sir, please teach me life now. Because it's like I didn't learn when you were teaching me. Now life is teaching me. You understand? When you hear my friend Pastor Abah, sometimes he has said it here severally. He will preach, he will roar. He said, I don't care what you say about Pastor David. I don't care what you say he did. I don't. And he'll be shouting and roaring. He said, I catch you, I kill you. You think it's easy to travel with a man like that for 30 years? Your profile is reading 30 years. And in 30 years of your journey, people did not try to disassociate you from them. People did not try to raise up stories. People did not try to raise up rumors. People did not try to send you a message and tarnish the person for 30 years. You were just hearing good news only. The power of accusation. That's why one of the hardest things I allow come around me is when you have brought somebody to me to accuse a person. You notice something in me checks. That's the seed of Satan, and it's not in me. You can call any other thing you want to call me, but you can never call me an accuser of brethren. Never. Either directly or indirectly. You will never see me have time to sit down with somebody, and all I'm talking about is not, you will never. Nobody in this world can accuse me of ever. Listen, you heard too much about me. The question I want to ask you is, have you gone anywhere and heard too much about yourself courtesy of me? The next time somebody comes to you and sits you down and tells you all the negative things about me you want to hear, ask the person, has this man you have spoken to about me like this, has he ever told you anything about me you're talking to? Then you know who is loyal. God uses some events sometimes not to review the first party but the second party. The Bible says it is required in stewardship. He said that the man be found faithful. You know why they gave that criteria, and they were experts about it. Because in service, in serving a great man, you can never serve him on the account of, oh, the man is a great man or a good man or this man or that man. No. To serve anybody, there are seed requirement, faithfulness. accusation is a weapon in his hand. When you meet an accuser, just know you have met someone the devil is using to fight the program of God. How does accusation edify a person? If you can answer that question, we are good to go. How does accusing somebody make you see the person good? Have you not seen the